Picture this. You have an $800,000 combine sitting in your field. The corn is ready. The weather window is 3 days. And the machine will not run because a $50 sensor threw a fault code. You know what the sensor is. You have the part. You have the tools. You have 30 years of mechanical knowledge sitting in your hands. But you cannot clear the fault code. The software that talks to that sensor is locked behind a proprietary diagnostic system only your dealer can access. Your dealer is 2 counties away, booked 3 days out, and charges $150 an hour. The machine is not broken. You are not incapable. You are being held hostage. And the lock on the door is a federal law. The law is called the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. It was passed in 1998 to protect music and movies from piracy. Section 1201 makes it a federal violation to circumvent technological locks on copyrighted software, and for those doing it for commercial gain, it carries the threat of massive fines and prison time. In 1998, nobody was thinking about tractors. John Deere was. John Deere's position, stated in federal regulatory filings, was that farmers who purchase the machine do not purchase the software. They purchase a license John Deere controls. The U.S. Copyright Office granted a limited exemption in 2015, allowing farmers to access their own vehicle software for repair. But exemptions under the DMCA must be renewed every 3 years. They are not rights. They are temporary permissions the government can retract. And the exemption never touched the real lock. The real lock is the Service Advisor 2-tier system. John Deere sells a consumer version to farmers and independent shops. You can read fault codes, but the functions that actually resolve critical faults, ECU recalibration, parameter resets, controller reflashing live in the dealer-exclusive version, you can see the error. You are not permitted to fix it. John Deere did not manufacture a weapon. They read the statute and aimed it. Here is the architecture underneath all of it. Modern John Deere equipment runs on a controller area network, a CAN bus. Every module talks on that bus. Engine control, transmission, hydraulics, feeder house, dozens of ECU modules communicate using a proprietary protocol. When a sensor trips, a fault code propagates across the bus. The cab display shows the code, but clearing the code is not the same as reading it. Clearing requires communicating back down the bus, telling the ECU to accept a new parameter or recognize a replaced component. That requires authenticated dealer credentials. Your sensor is a $50 part. The repair is a software handshake. That handshake sits behind a wall John Deere built deliberately, and John Deere defends it legally. You cannot clear it yourself. This architecture did not exist on tractors 20 years ago because it could not. The EPA's Tier 4 emissions mandates interim Tier 4 in 2011 for engines over 174 horsepower, and final Tier 4 across most power bands by 2014 and 2015 required precise electronic control of fuel delivery and exhaust aftertreatment, selective catalytic reduction, diesel particulate filters, systems that cannot be managed mechanically. The emissions mandate gave John Deere the engineering justification to eliminate mechanical injection across the entire modern fleet. The EPA mandate was the forcing function, and John Deere drove through the opening. The 2023 Memorandum of Understanding with the American Farm Bureau acknowledged the problem without solving it. Either party can terminate it with 15 days written notice. It is not a law. The dealer monopoly on deep diagnostic access was intact the day after it was signed. The escape is legislative and mechanical. On the legislative side, Colorado passed Senate Bill 23-118 in 2023, the first state-level agricultural right-to-repair law in the country, requiring manufacturers to provide diagnostic tools, parts, and documentation to farmers and independent shops. Minnesota's Digital Fair Repair Act followed, and it took effect on July 1, 2024, specifically covering agricultural equipment. The Federal Repair Act remains stalled in committee as of 2026. If you are in Colorado or Minnesota, the legal landscape has changed. If you are not, it has not. On the mechanical side, the exit still exists in the iron that predates the software trap. The John Deere 4040, 4240, and 4440 series were produced from 1978 through 1982. Nothing in these machines requires a software handshake to repair. Cast iron block, mechanical injection, hydraulics, you can rebuild with a seal kit from a local supplier. No CAN bus, no ECU, no license validation. A fault on a 4440 is a fuel delivery problem, a timing issue, or a mechanical wear pattern. Diagnosable with tools you own, fixable in the field. No dealer authentication required. The 4440 market moves by season and region. Check Tractor House or Machinery Pete for current pricing in your area. What you will find is a machine that sells for a fraction of an $800,000 precision combine. Both will harvest. Only one will ask for permission first. Understand what was actually built here. John Deere made a tractor you cannot legally repair without their permission, priced at $800,000, sold to people whose entire livelihood depends on 3 weeks of working harvest per year. The farmer is not the customer. The farmer is the revenue stream. The combine is the meter. The DMCA is the lock on the meter box. The state laws are a real gain, but Section 1201 is still on the books. The exemptions are still temporary. The dealer diagnostic monopoly is intact on every machine built after Tier 4. The exit exists. It is in the older iron. It is in the states that have moved. It is in understanding exactly where the law stands before you buy a machine that holds your harvest hostage. You already own the skill. They took the legal permission. Subscribe. Every week I cover the specific mechanisms used to extract money and control from people who work for a living, and the specific tools still available to fight back.